Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today I have a theory video for everyone. However, it does contain spoilers for current stuff that's happening in this campaign. So, if you're not caught up with Campaign 3, so not up to episode 75, I would say probably click off for now and go watch up to that point and then click on this video once again. Or, just hear the spoilers. But, other than that, let's get started. So the theory is, much like the thumbnail and the video title implies, I believe the Bell's Hells are becoming gods. Or, that's the path they're currently on. I don't think that's their goal to become gods, especially seeing as how a bunch of them seemingly hate gods. But I think that's sort of a path that's going to be open for them as time goes on. So why do I think this? Well, it's all based around what the party is currently doing, especially with what's going on with Ashton currently. And that is, there's dormant Titan's power within Ashton, and now they have to go wake it up using another dormant power of another Titan using the harness. So the harness thing gave me a bit of a clue of what we could be doing for the next handful of episodes, and I think might even be the next arc. So, my theory is they're going to use the harness to wake up a power inside Ashton by draining the other crystal they just received in episode 75, and bam, Ashton is now going to be supercharged, super powerful, have some sort of extra ability added to them. However, the issue that I have with this is that only one person getting something like this, an end game sort of tool, wouldn't be very fun, nor would it be very fair. So I think Matt is sort of setting up a potential for everyone to get this. And the reason I believe this is, if you cast your mind back all the way to Campaign 1, every single character ended up with a vestige of divergence. And I think that would be something they would do here, where everyone goes and gets some sort of superpower charge from this harness. And I could think of a very, long stretch of episodes where they could be doing this. In fact, we just dedicated 5 episodes for Ashton to get this crystal, and if we dedicate 5 episodes to each member who's still remaining, we'll be at episode 105, which is the perfect start for the end arc of the campaign, and I think that plays out way too well to not be the case. And this video could fall apart really quickly because Thursday will basically tell us the answer to this. So, this video is either going to be super worthless or it's going to be super accurate and my best prediction to date. So to sort of back this theory up, I've actually already come up with a few places that the party could go to supercharge themselves and become, god-killing entities that could potentially be required later on in the future. So first and foremost, I think we're actually going to one right now. With Whitestone, there's a certain Zigurat that's placed below that's very connected to Delilah Briarwood. And I think that just makes it the perfect place for them to go down with a harness and give Laudna some extra power. Now, of course, that doesn't fit into the whole 5 episodes thing being required, but maybe it could take a few episodes to convince Percy, and maybe they actually have to leave and come back and then get her thing there, and when someone else gets something in the meantime. So the Ziggurat is easily, to me, a place that they could go to sort of power up Laudna and sort of, fill in her spot to become a powerful character, especially because that leads right into the Shadow realm, which would be huge for her because she is a shadow sorceress and a shadow warlock. So I think it'd be really cool for her to sort of have this connection with the Shadow Realm, with Delilah, and sort of superpower herself even more. I think that would be a cool place. For Fern, I had a few places in mind, but I feel like it would be full circle for her to go back to the Fey Realm and sort of do something. And I could see them taking the powers from Gloomgut, if you remember the dragon thing they fought or ran away from not too long ago. They could go back and fight it and then steal the power. Or maybe even Nana Mori could give up her strength to sort of aid in this fight, because realistically, that's a very powerful source right there. She's basically an archfey, so it could be a very good way to make Fern super, super strong. I could see them going to Aor for FCG and potentially absorbing the whatever power source that we saw in visions back from Frida's memories, because that's something that might still be there in some faction or form in some way. Who knows? And there's a handful of other places that I can think of. The only issue is I can't realistically come up with one for Orym. Orym is the one that sort of sticks out as a character who I can't place something for. It could be another druidic spot, but I'm not terribly sure of where I would go for Orym to sort of get a power up. The other characters I can sort of have a loose structure of where I would take them. Chetney, I would take them probably back to the Gorgine potentially, either for them to absorb the power from the statue or go to another very strong lycanthropy place like that and potentially drain the power from that to increase his werewolf form. But Orym is the one that I'm sort of struggling to picture where we could go to sort of juice him up. So some of you are probably sitting there going, hey, what does this have to do with them becoming gods? They're just getting a power up. And that would be the case if the story wasn't literally about the gods potentially being killed off by the threat or the main villain of this campaign that the main party have to deal with. Now, the reason I say that they could become gods is because this could be a whole situation of we have to rise to the occasion and prove that we were better than the people who came before us. And simply put, with the story the way it is, I could very easily see a bunch of gods getting wiped out by Predathos. I could very easily see Ludinus winning and Predathos getting out. They somehow defeat Ludinus, now they have to fight Predathos, but not before a handful of gods die, and now some people need to step up. And because they've now gapped this bridge of power that there's sort of been between them and Predathos and potentially some gods, because they're getting this power up and they're going to level up as they go as well, I could very easily see a handful of the characters or the players from the Bell's Hells fitting into very easily just jumping into godhood, going right from being the ones who defeat Predathos to stepping into the portfolios of gods who have died around them. And I have no doubt in my mind that a bunch of them could even just become new gods, especially if we're going to do the whole like reset gods thing to distance ourselves from D&D even further. We could very easily just axe off a handful of gods that we need and position certain characters in certain places to fit that slot really well. I feel like there could be some sort of, instead of the Wild Mother being around, Fern could jump into that spot and be sort of the druidic, godly mother. And I could see Laudna easily jumping into the spot of the Matron of Ravens, the Raven Queen. She could fill in that slot of death, the space in between. I could see a handful of characters doing this and being in a really good spot for it. I could see, like, Ashen becoming an elemental god. I can see all sorts of places for our characters to fall into. And I feel like it just makes sense because there's going to be that gap if Predathos does get out, because there's no way in hell gods don't die. If Predathos gets out, I could very easily see the characters becoming gods. That is just a small little gap, and it's not that hard to sort of bridge it. I feel like it's very easy and very laid out right before it. I feel like Ludinus is already sort of setting up the idea of him trying to become a god, so I get the feeling that it could very easily just be like, the door is open, who's going to step through it? And I like the idea. And there you have it, my little theory about the Bell's Hells potentially becoming gods. So let me know what you think down below in the comment section. And we're going to find out the answers to this one super quick. This all hinges on what they're going to do once they get back to Whitestone. So I'm very excited to sort of see what happens on Thursday. So with that being said, I'll see you guys on Friday for the recap of episode 76. So yeah, until then, peace.